Shop Amazon for last minute gifts. Great deals for everyone on your list. Gifts for mom and gifts for dad. Even for your sister and your brother Chad. Ah shoot, we didn't realize we were supposed to get a gift for our dog walker guy. We almost forgot about our dentist Dr. Kerr. We didn't expect to get a gift from her. Or our cousin, I forget his name. He got us something nice, better reciprocate. For last minute deals on gifts for people you forgot. Get fast and free shipping at Amazon.
Peloton is gifting you their best offer of the season. Get up to $600 off Peloton Bike, Bike Plus, or Tread packages. Choose the package that is right for you with accessories ranging from cycling shoes to non-slip grip dumbbells and more. Whether you have 10 minutes to spare for a strength class or 30 minutes for a running or cycling class, there's a workout that works for you with music that is truly iconic. So don't miss out on Peloton's best offer of the season. Visit onepeloton.com to learn more. All access membership separate. Offer ends December 6, 2022. Excludes Bike, Bike Plus, and Tread Basic. See additional terms at onepeloton.com.
From the creators of Relevant Magazine, this is the Relevant Podcast.
It's Friday, August 24th, 2018, and it's the Relevant Podcast. I'm your host, Cameron Strang, and here with me in our Orlando studios, our illustrious engineer, my brother, Chandler Strang.
Hello.
I'm trying to, I don't know.
Yeah, it's an interesting switcheroo.
On the Skype line from the Jersey Shore, Jesse Carey.
Hello, hello.
Still
going
vacationing.
strong on my vacay here. Yeah.
little GTO. On the Skype line from Nashville, Tennessee, Annie F. Downs.
Good morning, gents.
And joining us for the whole show today from Los Angeles, California, our very favorite science guru, Science Mike McHargue.
Good morning.
Welcome to the show, sir.
Oh, so excited to be here, as always.
I'm so glad. It's our first time being friends, Mike. I'm thrilled about it.
Mike, just for a little context, I'm actually on vacation right now recording. As you can tell from the decor behind me, the house came equipped with the standard random beach house photos of like sand dunes, a lamp right here by the bedside that's made of seashells, you know? Like I think I've never seen these in any other homes other than beach houses, but I'm pretty sure they just come with them. Like the contractor just builds them right into that sand dune painting. I'm assuming he's built right into the drywall here. It's just like the building inspector comes through and he's like, "There's not enough sand dune portraits, so it doesn't pass. You get a couple more, we'll talk."
Right?
Does it also have seashells on random furniture?
Oh yeah, just like randomly glued there. You're like, you can't set your drink down because someone glued a conch shell or like a half a clam on the coffee. It does look pretty relaxing though.
Yeah, it's good.
Is there a huge collection of wicker furniture? Is there just so much wicker
Absolutely
everywhere?
wicker.
No, I'm not. It's funny you say that, Annie. The living room is entirely wicker. It is literally entirely wicker.
And I guarantee you there is a table lamp somewhere that is a glass base filled with the shells, right? I mean, it's like
Cameron.
That's the one that's right beside
No
him.
way. It's right beside him.
Look at it.
Literally
So full of shells.
Love it.
Not only do I have the signature seashell lamp right beside me, we also got a great show. I talked to Jonathan Merritt about his brand new book, Learning to Speak God from Scratch, coming up later.
I do want to note, over the last few weeks, we've talked a lot about it, but this might be my last podcast because as you're listening right now, on Friday, I will be running the 200-mile relay race, hood to coast, and I might die. So
here's the thing. I'm so glad Mike's on today because Mike, me and Annie have been going back and forth with this. I believe, here's the difference between Annie and I. I'm a biblical literalist, and when the Bible says the power of the tongue have life and death, I'm speaking life into Cameron and say, Cameron, it doesn't matter your lack of training. You can will yourself forward. When your body says stop, push forward, brother. Annie is speaking death, literally death. She's afraid Cameron's going to die.
Yeah.
Science Mike, from a science perspective.
No, Mike, I am not saying Cameron's going to die.
How far on that relay race will you be doing a given segment, Cameron?
Okay, so there's 10 of us on the team, and we have to go 200 miles. So each of us are about a total of 20 miles, in 3 chunks. We're going from 6,000 foot elevation on Mount Hood to the beach on the coast of Oregon. We're running through the night. It's about a 24-hour race. We have a van, and we have to basically, if you sleep at all in between your 7 or 8 hours, chunks, you're sitting up in a van with sweaty other runners. It's going to be horrible.
Okay, Mike, here's the other stat you need before you make a science decision about Cameron's ability to survive this. Cameron, how far is your shortest leg you're going to run in the race?
Around 4 miles to around 6 miles will be my legs.
And how far is the longest that you have trained so far?
The longest I have personally run at the point of this recording, which is 2 days before the race, the longest I have run is a run continuously without having to even slow down, like a mile and a half.
Okay.
Run in one session, total probably 3 miles.
Do you see my concern, Science Mike?
I do. Believe it or not, I have a little relevant experience. I used to be a marathoner.
No.
And so I've done 26.2. I've actually run as long as 30 miles. And what I will tell you is at very long distance training and distance racing, if you take a blood test right after a run that long, it would be difficult for a cardiologist to tell the difference between a marathon and a pretty serious heart attack without doing heart imagery. So very long distance running can be dangerous. So Cameron, what I would encourage you to do now, 4 to 6 miles is a much more manageable chunk. Just make sure you rest in between.
3 times though, Mike. 3 times.
Don't run between now and the race. Just walk. And during the race, to maximize not only your performance from your muscle tissue, but also minimize strain on your heart, carry a small timer and alternate between running and walking segments. Studies have shown consistently that even among elite athletes, a run-walk rhythm not only increases your average pace across the distance of the race, but also reduces the amount of stress on your heart and cardiovascular system.
So I honestly, the reason why I've never been a runner ever in my life, I mean, I played basketball and other things, but I never ran because when I was a kid, I had bronchial asthma and I always had to have an inhaler when I played sports. So as an adult, I just I just don't do that. You know what I mean? I'll go to the gym and I'll do other things, but I just don't run. I didn't have strong cardiovascular. I went to the doctor last week, got an inhaler. It's the difference of being able to breathe is unbelievable. Like oxygen has been unbelievable. My goal for this whole thing is an 80-20 rhythm. I run 80% and walk 20%. And I don't care about the time because at the end of the day, the reason why we're doing it is I'm doing it. I got talked into joining Team World Vision and we're doing it to raise money for clean water projects in South Sudan. And each of us on the team have a goal of $10,000, which will permanently provide clean water for like 300 people. And we're all together, all the 10 teams of Team World Vision. We're trying this one race to raise $1 million.
Wow.
I was worried. So my thing is I just wanted to raise money for clean water. And I'm telling you, last week, I put on my fundraising page. I blasted people on social media. I sent emails. And within a day and a half, I raised $11,000 and I hit the goal. So
in other
I'm
words,
listen,
there's no backing down now.
I can leisurely
In other words, you can walk away because you have the money.
I did it.
People will be, you can't, Mike, this is a question I've thought about.
Mike, I'm really concerned about this.
At what point can Cameron expect to lose control of his bodily functions in humiliating fashion on the side of Mount Hood? If you catch, I'm not going to give you more graphic than that, but at what point will that definitely happen?
As long as Cameron avoids the famed carbo loading the night before the race, which is actually a terrible idea, he's much less likely to have gastrointestinal disturbances, although it does happen at longer race
Mike,
durations.
please tell me. I didn't know this, but on Thursday night before the Friday race, Friday to Saturday, there is a big kickoff dinner that I was told by the other participants is the carbo load meal. So you're saying avoid it?
Yeah.
It's too late to get your glycogen stores up in the last meal before the race. You would want to eat a relatively lean, protein-rich meal for dinner. Your carbo loading would happen the 3 days before that in reasonable portions distributed through your meals, at least based on how the body where the mythology of runner's diarrhea comes from is from night before carbo loading, because running as you run, blood is going to be pulled away from your stomach and intestines, and any food matter there can actually start to curdle or ferment.
Oh, gosh.
And then your body does what your body does to stay healthy. So it's best to eat a lean meal the night before, have generous carb portions, maybe, the day before the race, but nothing crazy. Focus on protein. And then really important during the race, don't drink just water or just sports drinks. If you drink just sports drinks, your electrolytes are going to get too high. That can cause gastrointestinal distress. If you drink only water, you're not going to have enough electrolytes, and that give you a headache and performance problems. So alternating between plain water and sports drinks at your aid stations at the races or however you're handling that supply chain will maximize not only how you feel, but also your athletic performance.
I mean, what about the no sleep part, Mike? How about that?
Can I make one meal suggestion?
Oh, gosh.
Can I make one meal suggestion based on that? A big, extra spicy bowl of jambalaya. I mean, you've got the seafood, you got the creamy sauce. Yeah, some fresh piping hot jambalaya that morning. I would have it in the van just to fuel up.
Just a crock pot of spicy jambalaya plugged into the
What's the
cigarette
crock pot
lighter.
You have a crock pot you're dragging behind on a trailer, and you're just sipping the jambalaya as you run. I think just fueling you.
I got an email last night from the team captain. And he was like telling everybody how to pack. And again, this podcast is coming up on Friday. We're recording this on Tuesday, so I'm leaving tomorrow for Portland. And he was telling us how to pack. And he was like, the packing list, like, your little bag that you bring on the overnight. He was saying like things like headlamps and reflective gear. And it dawned on me, I didn't even think about this. We'll be running by ourselves through the streets of Oregon at 4 a.m. in the dark. It's not like we're staying on major roads. I mean, you're going on like little 2-lane roads through towns and stuff.
Right, through
I'm gonna be like
Sasquatch
by
country.
myself running through the woods of Oregon in the dark. And he's like, bring a headlamp, bring things. Who knows what's jumping out of the woods? I mean, like I'm actually getting legit.
You're in peak Yeti country, man. That place is crawling with cryptozoological phenomenon. I wouldn't be out there in the middle of the day on those back roads, much less in the middle of the night. You're asking for it, man. Missing 411 out there.
So to our dear listeners, it's been since 2005. We've been doing this podcast. I just want to say I've really enjoyed it. And
I just am ready for this to be done. I'm ready for you to talk about how you survived it and just ready to not be worried anymore. I've been worried consistently since February, Science Mike. I think my heart is more concerned than anyone else.
When I'm on that treadmill and I'm 30 minutes in and I'm about to die and I'm going, oh man, I'm only at like 2 miles and like this is not even half of my shortest leg. I don't know how I'm going to do this. I just don't know how.
And you're at sea level.
And I'm at sea level and I'm like in a nice air conditioned room as opposed to the blazing hot sun and the cold nights. It's going to be an extreme temperature drop variance. Like I don't know how to physically do this. I've never experienced anything like this before. And all the other runners on my team are like super encouraging, like, oh, you'll have a blast. I'm like, I don't think you realize how out of shape I am. Like, I don't know. I am in pain. You guys are having fun.
I just pulled up the will we've been working on, and I'm adding Mike to the invitation to participate in the Viking funeral. How it works is, Mike, we push Cameron out into like Puget Sound out there in Oregon, and we all get flaming arrows. Whoever gets him first takes sole possession of Relevant.
Mike's actually the closest since he's already West Coast. Mike, you're going to be our first call to go rescue Cameron when things get weird.
I have no chance of winning the fire arrow shooting Relevant inheritance, but if you need a runner rescue service, I probably am best positioned.
It'll be too late for that, but we'll keep that in mind.
Yeah, he'll be dead, but we'll just want you there first.
You will find, though, the cold nights are fantastic. There's nothing better than cold night running because you produce so much body heat. The cold air really, really, really increases your performance and comfort running.
But what about breathing in the cold air, like the cold lung thing, cold throat thing? I mean, like how, like again, being a Floridian, I breathe in moisture. I'm not used to like dry cold at all. Like, what's that like? I would think that'd be like razors and like painful.
It's not great. It's not great. So the way I dealt with that was when I ran the marathon, I would wake up on Saturdays at 2 a.m. and try to run for 6 to 8 hours. And I was running in December, January. So a lot of mornings it was, 29 or even 25. And so I got used to that. About the 6th run, it doesn't bother you anymore. So you might find that you acclimatize during the run.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm glad you've got that inhaler because that will be a stressor on your respiratory
and Mike, I'd like
system.
to dispel. Well, real quick, can I dispel a common rumor for you, Cameron? That would just put your mind at ease a little. A lot of people say when you're on these long runs and you're breathing that cold air, it's like a knife stabbing you in the chest. That's not like that at all. It's actually more like 1,000 tiny knives stabbing you in the chest. So I wanted to clear that up. That's a common misconception, but since we're talking about it, I feel like we need to.
And really the lower throat. 1,000 tiny knives in the lower throat is pretty accurate.
Precise.
All I know
Sounds
is
like you're going to have a great time, bud.
the people of South Sudan are going to get clean water, and that's why we're doing
Yeah,
it.
that's a good point.
Well, they
It's gonna
already
be
got
worth
the
it.
clean water, so you're just doing it for no reason at this point.
Oh, that's true. I didn't even think of that.
You already raised the money.
Oh, man. It's a futile exercise. Oh, thanks. All right, well, moving the show along, it is time for Slices. All right, what do you have, Jesse?
Okay, I picked this one specifically because I knew Mike was going to be joining us this morning. There's a headline I ran across that I wanted to discuss a little bit, and it's a twofold question. Ice has recently been found on the surface of the moon, and one of the reasons this is important because it raises the prospects of mankind being able to have a lunar colony because you can tap the ice there and use that for water. Because evidently
how did they just find it? Did a camera take a picture of it?
Yeah, I guess like satellite imagery found, and they already suspected it was there, but they recently had like new evidence that in parts of the moon that don't regularly get or never get sunlight, that it is in fact ice. And so from my understanding, one of the major obstacles to colonizing the moon would be how would you get something like water up there? Like you can't just run a big pipe up to, I mean, maybe you could. That would, I don't know if they've thought about that. Side note, it's a little, well, I'm Elon Musk in this thing, just thinking outside the box. We just run a big pipe to the moon. All we need is a moon plumber up there. No, but these big, areas that are frozen water could potentially be a solution to that obstacle, which is very cool, I guess. I don't really have, Mike, I have a couple questions, but they don't really have to do, I think I understand the ice on the moon. Like that seems logical. Like if there was water anywhere, that would be frozen in parts of the moon that don't get sunlight because it's cold. I get that. But my question is even a little bit further back than that. Why do we even want to colonize the moon? Like, what benefit does it bring? No one's ever explained that to me. Like, I remember like Newt Gingrich ran for president on the moon colonization platform. That was like his big thing. And he almost sold me because it sounded awesome. But I never have heard a good case why we need to go and actually have people live there. Mike, if this is the first step to legitimately colonizing the moon, what is a good reason that we should even do it?
I can give you 3 amazing reasons to colonize the moon.
Good. Okay.
One, we have found consistently across the arc of human spaceflight that by attempting to create engineering solutions to the difficult problems of getting to and surviving within space, we push forward humanity's technological prowess in a way that gets re-inherited into human industries and human economy right here on Earth. That's one. 2, because space is such a difficult environment to live in, it helps us understand ways that we can not only survive on the Earth in more difficult conditions for exploration, but understand techniques that may be useful for survival in the events of global ecological catastrophe, or allow us to have collections of humans on other celestial bodies in the event of, say, an impending asteroid strike that would threaten a significant portion of the human population. It's an insurance policy, but neither of those are the best reasons to colonize the moon. The best reason to colonize the moon is because of its low gravity. If we built a lunar base that had a swimming pool on the moon, the water would stay in the pool, but you could swim and leap out of the water like a dolphin without flippers because of the lower gravity.
I am in.
What?
So we're talking ultimately the goal here. Like, so survival of humankind.
Who cares?
Sure. We're talking a
Who
moon
cares?
water
We
park
can jump
here.
out of a swimming pool like
Also
a
moon
dolphin.
basketball.
Exactly. Just
Oh
And there's no way to
gosh.
simulate that on Earth. The
There
only
is
way we
no
can
way.
do it is invest billions of dollars, probably trillions of dollars.
A lunar swimming pool would be a trillions of dollars investment at
Risk
current
the
technology.
worth it,
Risk the
everybody. Are
lives
you
of
kidding?
multiple astronauts. Launch a sixth branch of the military called the Space Force. Just for the prospect.
Yeah.
And which I'm interested in your Space Force thoughts too, Mike. Just for the prospects of having a moon swimming pool that we could, potentially go and visit. I'm in 100%. I was a pool lifeguard at one point. I know the fun that can be having pools. Okay. Trust me, I've seen it all. Okay?
I want you to imagine being under the surface, diving into a pool, sweeping up like you do as you come up, grabbing a basketball off the surface of the pool, and then dunking it into a 10-foot goal at the end of the pool. That's completely plausible with lunar physics.
Oh,
and here's why. Even just to revolutionize pool basketball, because here's I love basketball and I love swimming in pools. You would think pool basketball would be awesome. Anyone who's played pool basketball, it's impossible to make a jump
so
shot on that
hard.
hoop.
Yeah.
There's only one way to score, and that's to muscle your way to the basket and try to dunk, which is impossible because there's no rules in pool basketball. You can't dribble. People are literally just yanking. I've seen friendships lost in a game of pool basketball.
Yes,
I've seen multiple bloody noses because there's only one way to get to the hoop. You're talking about a revolution. I would watch this game, this sort of like hybrid dunk contest water polo that you're suggesting.
Sure.
It seems worth the risk. Second question, follow up.
Wait, hold on. Can I wear my, I have a mermaid tail that I own, Mike. Would that work as well? Can I jump out like a dolphin, but actually be a mermaid?
Wait, you do?
100% I
And
do.
you've worn it in public.
It's a blanket.
No, hold on. Andy just revealed that she's you ever, when Sky Mall was a thing, you ever flipping through Sky Mall and you're like, who's keeping Sky Mall in business? Like, who just spent $300 on this wizard garden gnome that is also a solar panel? Like,
no, not that.
Who's buying the Lord of the Rings memorabilia? We found Annie buys stuff. That was Sky Mall purchase, wasn't it?
Someone gifted me with a mermaid tail blanket.
Okay.
And now I'm just imagining this would be my perfect spot. Besides when I wear it in the winter because it keeps me warm. It's the perfect spot. I can take it to the moon and I can flip out like an actual mermaid.
You could, if you had one of they also make mermaid tails that are designed for swimming. They're basically a monofin. One of those, you could get really incredible loft out of the water. The blanket would probably impair you slightly, but with lunar gravity, not a huge deal. I bet you could still break the surface.
Think about all day, Mike.
So, okay, here's the other question. Say this dream becomes a reality. Do you think that will justify Space Force? Is there a good reason for a Space Force right now? What are your thoughts
we've been
on
wanting to
Space
ask you
Force?
this.
There's a Space Force in the Air Force, and there's 30,000 people who are working on space defense. It exists. There's no need for a new military unit for it. Anyway, sorry. Go ahead, Mike.
Sorry, this is a question for Science Mike, Cameron.
But to Cameron's point, it's a policy question, not a science question. This is about how an existing group of career military professionals are organized within the government. I just don't feel qualified to weigh in. I mean, it's the whole...
We'll qualify you. You're
this
totally
is my
qualified.
NASA coffee mug, and I think it's hilarious that one of the Space Force logos is like copyright infringement on a government agency. That is hilarious. It's a whole different field for the Air Force's space operations, what they're doing in space versus what NASA's doing in space. Now, they do have an amazing budget, and occasionally they give NASA stuff, and I get very excited about that. But generally, what the Air Force is up to in space, I'm less excited about than what NASA's working on.
Right.
Because it tends to be counterintelligence. The one thing I do think that maybe the military is working on in secret to a level that NASA can't touch is what to do in the event of satellite attacks. Right. Meaning if another government were to weaponize satellites and attack other satellites, that could really mess up spaceflight because of the debris fields that would make low Earth orbit unnavigable. So the fact that they might be working on counter methods, not only to prevent the weapons discharges in the first place, but also to deal with the corresponding debris fields, that technology would be really useful in the event of a non-weaponized satellite accident or collision that caused a lot of debris in lower Earth orbit. So that's one project I'm really excited about. And honestly, if creating a Space Force keeps that one initiative funded in a bipartisan way, then I'm all for it. But in general, what excites me about space travel is things like the International Space Station, where countries that might even have degrading or difficult international relations on a geopolitical sense work together on frontiers of science and exploration. And I think space travel at its best encourages us to think about humanity as an entire species and not a collection of competing nations.
Right. Also, I'll get to swim like a dolphin.
Yeah, I think when we can, work together, or some people say collude with other.
I knew you had some good word coming because you had a giggle on your face.
With other countries. The fake news? I don't know. I'm just saying no collusion. That's all. That's all.
I knew,
don't
Mike,
believe
did
it.
you see
Fake
his face
news.
too? He had
Fake
like
news,
a little giggle in his face. There was something coming.
Newsflash, fake news.
That's incredible.
No collusion.
Are you, Mike?
I don't know what you heard about it. I don't know what you heard. No
Growing up 30 miles from Kennedy Space Center, I obviously, space exploration and stuff like that is a big part of the culture here in Central Florida. But are you a Mars colonization person or a moon colonization person? I understand the technological innovations that would have to happen either way will benefit humanity here and now and all that. It's a valid argument. Obviously, there's a big push toward Mars. And the more I learn about Mars, the more I think it just seems like a futile exercise, like to save humanity and all that stuff. It just, with the moon is so much more attainable. What are your thoughts?
As a save humanity exercise, we're going to have to colonize both. I'm going to have to colonize both to scales unimaginable today.
Right.
So in the near term, we're talking about what advances are human space flight capacity the most and the fastest. You can make a reasonable argument for either.
Yeah.
I'm excited anytime. Well, no, I don't think we can do both at the same time.
Oh.
But right now, human space flight is completely happening in low Earth orbit. We haven't sent people beyond that range since the Apollo program. So whether it's return to the moon or a shot at Mars, either one would dramatically increase our capacity to explore space. I think the moon's probably more feasible, and I think Mars probably has a bigger scientific technological payoff, but there's no reason that establishing a moon base, maybe instead of having a low Earth orbit system like the International Space Station, couldn't serve as a human readiness and training factor that then prepared us to make a shot at Mars. But right now, robots are doing a pretty good job on Mars. So maybe keep sending great nuclear-powered SUVs to the red planet, and let's put boots on the ground right here on the moon.
A year ago, the Nat Geo did that series called Mars about the colonization, and I got flown out to Hawaii, where there's actual in the lava fields there, they have like biodomes where volunteers, what do they call it, habinauts, I believe they're calling themselves, they would sign up for a year to basically live in this biodome in the lava fields of Hawaii and treat it as though it would be like they're living on a colony in Mars. And going there, like, it was so fascinating because, like, because I'm thinking, like, because the International Space Station right now, I mean, like, half of the flights that go up there are to take supplies and parts and things to it. But going to Mars, that'd be impossible. And so what they're talking about doing is, like, flying a mission, an unmanned mission there, dropping a whole bunch of robots and 3D printers on the surface that would then be able to take the soil and stuff and turn that into filament that then the 3D printers can then be building the buildings and habitats and the equipment that they would be needing. And then the humans would come join it later to something that's already kind of like created for them. And that, which is fascinating to me, like that sort of innovation and that sort of self-sufficiency that would be so necessary on the moon or Mars really will benefit us here on Earth, because I mean, imagine how that would revolutionize just construction and homes and cities and infrastructure and farming and things that, or environmental impact and footprint and things, carbon emissions. that we right now are struggling with the population boom and things like that, it really will benefit humanity by having to kind of crack the nut and solve this. Like, how do you exist on, another, planet? So it's interesting.
Man, I love
I'm
if this is all the stuff we know. How much stuff is NASA and Space Force doing that we don't know? I love this.
I just like the fact that, I'm picturing from what Mike said that there's one guy at NASA who's just in charge of figuring out the pool situation up there. Bill's working on a big project. He's putting a deep end in. It's a whole thing, man. He's going, figuring out how to play sharks and minnows up there. He's got
Well, and especially his main job is to figure out how to keep the lunar sand out of the pool area.
Yeah,
since it is razor sharp and can even cut your lungs.
Ooh. Yeah.
Much like the cool Portland air in the middle of the night.
Well, I'll say this. He's just developed this cool thing. If an astronaut decides to be lazy, if you know what I mean, the pool water up there will turn blue. You'll know who decided not. You'll know if,
That is my greatest,
not even there.
honestly,
That's
that is my
disgusting even
greatest
up there.
fear. As I was swimming as a child growing up in Florida, I think there was like one family that did do that, that I remember. Like, they put that ingredient in the pool that turned it a color if you didn't get out.
And if you pee in the pool, why are you not saying pee in the pool?
Pee in the pool. And and I like every pool I'm in, any public pool I'm in from now on for the rest of my life, I always think, is this one of the pools that has one of those ingredients? And you just
good.
I know. I'm just saying, but I've never seen it again.
Picturing like the press conference where like the commander of our space fleet for General Space Force is like, we have disturbing news this evening from the moon base. One of our Soviet colleagues has found to have peed in the pool. And like it starts like an international incident. And it's like satellite image of just like a little blue patch in the water of the pool. And it's like, okay, this is why we developed the technology. And we got a guy working on this.
You know what? Like, again, Floridian, we know a lot about pool chemistry. And the common perception is like public pools they pump a ton of chlorine in there, and it's because of that stuff, right?
Yeah.
Chlorine doesn't kill pee. The only way to rid the water of pee is to drain the pool and put new water in. What public pool do you know of that has done that? None. The pee stays. Mike, am I wrong?
This is the worst thing
the
you've
chlorine
ever
does
said
not
to
kill
me.
the pee, right?
Most public pools and fountains are generally on average, I can't remember the stat, but it's 70 to 85% urine. I can't remember exactly. It's out there.
The CDC did a report earlier in the summer. They went across the country and sampled an incredible number of public pools.
Yeah.
And basically found that north of 80-something% of pools aren't safe for humans to be in.
Whoa.
No.
I mean, it's bad because the chlorine you put in the pool its primary function is as a sterilizing agent, a disinfectant for microbial life. And when people tend to get, I don't need a shower, I'm jumping in the pool, that'll clean me off. And when they do that, the chlorine reacts with their body's oils, it reacts with the sunscreen, and with what is also very common in public pools, fecal matter. And that creates something called chlorinates. It's a chemical change. So chlorine on its own is not an irritant. But when you have that chlorine smell in a pool, that's not chlorine, that's chlorinates that have reacted with a biological contaminant. And that's what functions as a respiratory irritant. So not only is it a respiratory irritant, but the fact that you can smell chlorine means the pool water has reached its load capacity for purifying. So not only is there a chemical irritant, there's also an active microbial presence, which means, and I'm serious, I never, ever, under any circumstances, put anything above my neck below the water line in a public pool or a private pool.
You throw a couple old Band-Aids in the pool filter that everyone's found, and you got yourself a real...
This is why I only swim in the lunar pool, you guys.
Yeah,
This is why I only swim on the moon.
Yeah.
That's so gross, Mike.
Yeah.
That's so gross. So if I smell chlorine at a pool, don't get in the pool.
Wow.
Oh, I'm so disturbed.
I live on the edge, man. I live on the edge. It's too hot. Life is too short. Life is too short not to take a dip in a urine infested pool every once in a while. It's too short. Gotta live a little.
All right. Mike, what do you have?
Well, I went to one of my favorite news outlets, which is news.mit.edu. And I found that recently, August 9th, that neuroscientists have found probably the neurological mechanism of pessimism in brains. And that comes down to a particular brain structure called the caudate nucleus, which is part of our basal ganglia. That's a very ancient part of mammal brains. And they basically found that when you have ongoing chronic stressors or, say, electrical current applied to your caudate nucleus, you get into a sense of pessimism, which clouds your judgment and it makes you see all the negative outcomes for a given situation. By understanding a neurological mechanism for pessimism and understanding the way that it shapes cognition in ways that create decision-making pathways that worsen an organism's circumstances, that's giving them a foundation to work on therapeutic techniques to neurologically treat pessimism to give people a more positive outlook and find ways that they can make positive changes in their life.
So how is that something that could be done through like some sort of like drug that could affect brain chemistry there? Or you mentioned like electric currents. Like I might have been an episode of Radiolab a while ago about experimentation with like magnet therapy for stuff like that, for like essentially some mood altering capabilities that things like that would have. So if they wanted to treat pessimism, not on a psychological level, but a neurological level, right? What would the method look like?
Well, that's what this kind of basic research then serves as fodder for other researchers to come along now that they begin to understand a neurological mechanism at play to come up with neurological medical solutions as well as psychological solutions. Modern psychology has a very productive relationship with neuroscience. If you can imagine, if you're trying to fix a computer, you can deal completely on a software level, but if there's something going on with the hardware, you might need to open the case, so to speak, and work more directly. And so by understanding the part of the brain at play, not only can we work on things like medical solutions via like pills or chemicals, or something like deep brain electrical stimulation, which has been used to treat things like Alzheimer's and Parkinson's very successfully in experiments. But you can use psychological techniques in conjunction with brain imaging studies and see which ones are the best at altering brain activity without any sort of medical intervention. So the great work of neuroscientists in identifying what parts of the brain are engaging in what parts of the human experience lay the groundwork for other parts of the medical community to come up with therapeutic practices that improve lives.
The other question I had is how? Like, how do they identify? how is this?
Okay, how?
But like, how do they do it? Like, are they
Mike's
like
blowing
brain
all of our
scanning
minds, and
somebody
Jesse's
and
like,
they have a half
wait.
empty or full glass? Like, how do you determine that part of the brain is associated with pessimism?
Oh, so in this particular study, the primary test subjects were animal subjects who had electrodes implanted in their brains, and they were given problem-solving tasks that had high-risk, high-payoff options and low-risk, low-payoff options. And they found that when they applied electrical stimulation to the caudate nucleus, animals not only had more difficulty making decisions. It took them longer to make a decision. They were more likely to choose high risk, high payoff options. But of course, since they're high risk, they're very often most likely to get nothing. And so when you pull that out to a larger behavioral framework, when people get very stressed out and very pessimistic and they're very concerned, they tend to take riskier behaviors as plausible than they would in a normal framework. And they, in hopes of this one miraculous thing that will improve their life. Whereas organisms that aren't in a pessimistic or chronic stress state tend to go for consistent low payoffs over time, which is a guaranteed strategy for life improvement. So that was the mechanism of the experiments in this particular case. And the reward was juice, and the
like literal juice.
animals love juice and sugar, and then unpleasant stimulus, which is a puff of air in the face. So you could make these decisions, and one of them, you got a lot of juice occasionally, but mostly you got a puff of air in the face, and the other one, you just always got a little bit of juice. And so when they would stimulate the caudate nucleus, the same animal that had been choosing the consistent small dose of juice started basically gambling for juice.
Even that aspect's fascinating, because if I was like in the mouse lab or whatever, and they'd be like, all right, you got to figure out one of these are pessimistic. I'd be like, okay, which one just seems like a real bummer to hang out with? Like, which mouse seems like just a real drag, man? Like, is that probably that guy? He's probably the pessimist. We'll isolate that guy's brain.
You would be well put to use in qualitative research, like market focus groups, probably, Jesse.
Oh, good. I'm glad they have some purpose.
Neuroscientists tend to want quantitative research variables.
Yeah, I don't want to be boxed in by, like I said, quote unquote science, observable, predictable outcomes. Now we're gonna roll the dice a little here.
Okay, what do you have, Annie?
Well, I also did some important research, just like Science Mike. And did you guys know that last Saturday on August 18th was the most popular wedding day of the year?
Goodness.
You guys, let's talk about it.
August? Why? I thought it was June weddings.
No, according to The Knot, which is the #1 digital wedding website, where people register, 28,633 couples got married last Saturday.
Oh, wait, that's on The Knot? You missed the punchline.
Yeah, that's
because
according to The Knot. So there's more.
No, because every fact they go, not. It's like a 90s punchline website. It's a trivia thing. They got you good. It's like a 90s.
Listen,
it's like a lame
going.
90s Onion. It's just not. That's a problem.
This is actually
Isn't Garth is their editor-in-chief, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that?
It's like Michael Scott's favorite website. He just loves it.
With almost 30,000 weddings and each wedding having about an average of 136 guests, there were almost 4 million people attending weddings just this weekend. And the top 5, I thought this was really cool. The top 5 most popular registry items, again, according to The Knot, KNOT, Jesse, was a KitchenAid stand mixer, a Ninja blender, a Dyson vacuum, a Roomba, and an air fryer.
Dude,
does that surprise y'all?
Yeah,
that
those are some generous wedding. Like a Dyson vacuum is like $500. Yeah, like who are these people inviting to their wedding? And the Ninja, that's like a high end. Yeah, that's like a high end. Those are very generous wedding attendees. Those are the highest, the most given gifts. Good for them, man.
Lucky for y'all, I have a little bit of a twofer today, because not only was last Saturday the most popular wedding day, there is a new way for you to feed the people who come to your wedding. And I'm saying right here and now, this sounds like the greatest idea, and I'm totally doing it. Waffle House just got a new food truck, everybody.
It's a beat up old pickup.
I saw that.
It's an old van with Waffle House spray painted on the side. And
no. It's a beautiful looking food truck.
It's constantly on the run from the health department. So it's got like an extra booster in it.
Okay, listen to the price. This is what's going to blow your minds. To rent the truck, the fee to rent the truck, $90.
Wow.
And then it is $50 an hour based on mileage to and from the event. And then you just pay for the food that you're feeding people, and you get the full menu.
Which the food is like $12 to feed 200. So it's,
right.
Yeah, I was going to say $90 covers 700 waffles. It's a fantastic deal.
So I just think for all of our friends that are planning their weddings for the rest of this year and next year, know that there is an option to have a Waffle House truck at your wedding.
Is that what you're going to do?
Yeah, for sure I'm going to do that. You guys are going to love it. Can you imagine?
How can we show that before God and man that this sacred matrimony that we are keeping, with the utmost respect and dignity?
Yeah.
By serving those in attendance old waffles out of a van.
Man, you're acting like it's just waffles. Can you imagine how much fun it would be? You're dancing on the dance floor. You're stopping by the open bar, and then you're going to get some scattered, smothered, covered, and chunked hash browns. Come on. You're not going to have a better time than that wedding.
I know what everyone wants when they're sweating it out on the dance floor, and that's a big plate of spiced meats and rolled up in sausage form. You're totally right,
Crispy
Annie.
bacon everywhere, scrambled eggs to your heart's content. I'm telling y'all,
Just what, like I said, everyone wants on a hot August night while dancing and drinking.
It's the best. I'm
is
so
more,
thrilled about it.
I have a theory that your appreciation for Waffle House is directly proportional to your Southern accent, because I am totally with you on the Waffle House. I love it. It's like one of the things I miss most about the Southeast, living in California, is Waffle House. And when I say that, people are like, what? And I was like, you don't understand. It's a
but you of all people would know what is in that food. And
and I'll tell you what, Science Mike isn't telling us to stay away. He's telling us not to get in a swimming pool, but he's saying go to your local Waffle House.
Yeah, you won't get in a pool that has like an intricate filtering system and, perfectly calculated chemicals. Yeah, you'll eat at what is the equivalent of a gas station that doesn't serve gas, only waffles and
for sure. For sure. Yeah, you got it. You nailed that, Jesse. You're not wrong at all, bud.
A Waffle House is basically a place where people pull off to use the bathroom and maybe get food. It's a bathroom first.
Not in the South, man.
A restaurant.
No, you're so wrong, bud. Yeah. I'm telling you, when you come to my wedding and there's a Waffle House truck out there, you're going to change your tune.
And speaking of weddings, like those gifts are crazy. What about the best gift you can get a new couple? The gift of self-sufficiency. Just a card that says, congratulations, you're on your own now. And then that's it.
Or even better, congratulations, I've robbed your house during the wedding. I want to see how sufficient you are. I want to see if your marriage can go through fire and back. And we've burned your home down. We've literally burnt your house down.
Oh, my gosh.
I agree with you, Mike. I mean, it's tough. It's called tough love. And, anybody can get somebody a Dyson. It takes a real friend to wreck their life to see if they can come out the other side.
Exactly. Yes.
They also had, in that same article, they had a list of the most unique gifts that the not identified that people were getting. And one of them include a Star Wars Death Star waffle maker. So we can just keep on with that waffle. I know. A sushi rolling kit, a Wi-Fi pet camera. Why would you have a Wi-Fi pet camera? What does that even mean?
We've also given you dysentery because you just ate a boiled egg out of the back of a truck. All right, well, that's a good note to end Slices on. Coming up, we'll hear from Jonathan Merritt.
Hit me like a tidal wave. Sugar by the aftershock. Hit me like a tidal wave. Sugar by the aftershock.
You're listening to Portugal the Man. The song is Tidal Wave. At the beginning of the podcast, you heard Roosevelt with Forgive. It was featuring Washed Out.
Jonathan Merritt is a reporter and a writer whose work has appeared on The Atlantic, on Religious News Service, and as well as RelevantMagazine.com. And in his latest book, Learning to Speak God from Scratch, he looks at why sacred words are vanishing and how we can revive them. I recently got a chance to talk with Jonathan about the book, what sacred words are, and why it's so important for culture that they remain a part of our day-to-day conversations. Here is our interview with Jonathan Merritt. One of the cool things about your story is you kind of grew up in the Bible Belt and spent a lot of formative years there. But in your adult life, you've been in New York and, have kind of traveled in different circles maybe than you did growing up. When being in these two worlds, how did you kind of encounter people who talked differently when it came to God and faith?
Well, there are a lot of people listening to this who will understand this. If you grow up in the Deep South, if you tell someone you're saved or born again, or you attend a Bible-believing church, that's sort of loaded language, but there's no follow-up question needed. If you sneeze, someone might say, God bless you. But in the Deep South, nobody says, what do you mean by God? Or what do you mean by bless? It's sort of assumed, it's known. And there is this kind of cultural Christian vocabulary that basically everyone understands, whether they use it or not. But about 5 years ago, I moved from the Bible Belt to New York City. And that was sort of a shocking experience for me culturally, because when I got here, I ran into this weird language barrier. It wasn't that I could no longer speak English. I could speak English as well as I always could. I could order a hot dog at a streetcar or hail a taxi cab, but I could no longer speak God. And what I mean by that is I no longer felt confident in sacred words that I had taken for granted all my life. And I no longer felt comfortable having spiritual conversations. And I thought when this happened, I started to have exchanges with people, and I would realize they were working from a different script, that maybe they had heard these words before, but they had heard them with wildly different meanings. Or maybe they'd never heard them before, and they didn't even know what they meant. Or maybe they had been hurt by these words. Maybe their pastors or their friends or their parents had used these words to harm them, and they would sort of shrink back when I used them. But this was kind of a disorienting experience for me because as a faith and culture writer, I sort of fancied myself an expert in post-Christian culture. But one thing I realized after moving to New York is that it's a lot easier to pontificate about post-Christian culture than it is to live in it.
So you mentioned the example of like, God bless you. And it's something that, you know, people who are raised in certain parts of the country, they don't even think twice about responding to. What are some other examples of kind of these phrases we may take for granted, but are more loaded than we realize when you talk to people who maybe grew up in a different religious context?
Well, the thing is that it's not just Christianese. And if it were just Christianese, it would be a much more limited problem. But what I've uncovered that I talk about in this book is really a sweeping cultural crisis. So when you look at Google Ngram data, for example, you know, Google has compiled all of the speeches and the books and the magazines and the blogs and the websites that have been produced in the English-speaking world going back to the 1500s. You can search it, and you can search the frequency of word usage. What you find when you search that is that nearly all sacred words, nearly all words of virtue, nearly all moral and ethical words, not just religious words, but words that we consider to be sacred more broadly, are in decline by up to 50% or more. You talk about a word like grace, it's gone down. Mercy has dropped. Faith declined. Honesty has gone down. Compassion words, kindness words. So yes, the usage of words like God or sin, more meaty theological terms have declined, but actually even some of those words on the periphery have dropped significantly over the last 50 years, and most of us aren't even noticing. What I then did was I conducted a national survey with Barna Group of over 1,000 Americans. And I asked them, how often do you have spiritual or religious conversations? And shockingly, despite widespread religiosity in America, only 7% of people said, I have a spiritual or religious conversation about once a week, which is not that much. When I looked at just practicing Christians, that number was only 13%. So if you're listening to this and you go to church, if you showed up at church this coming Sunday, and the only people who showed up were the most faithful people, you look down the pews or the chairs next to you, only about 1 in 8 people in that room feel confident enough to have a spiritual conversation once every 7 days. And this was something that really shocked me. And it was the thing that caused me to say, okay, I need to pick up my pen and write a book about this.
So that's super interesting. And, you know, is it something where Christians have to evolve their language, or is it something where Christians have to be more confident using these terms that are sort of already known to be, you know, quote unquote sacred?
Well, there are a couple things. I think there's the question before the question. And the question before the question is, well, should we even care? I mean, does it even matter? What I did when I was writing this book was I spent a year studying linguistics. And I was really, I'd never studied linguistics before, or language in general. But I found that there's this emerging body of research now that shows that the language we use, the words we use, are intimately connected to the thoughts we think. And the thoughts we think predict our behavioral patterns. So a great example of this is the concept of time. You know, in English, we have a futured language. We use different tenses. But if you go to China, they have one tense, and you kind of intuit that whether it's future or past or present based on the context. They don't really have a futured tense. They don't say something will happen. When you compare two cultures that have a futured and a non-futured tense, what you find is that people with a futured tense actually think about the future more frequently. It shapes their thought patterns. They will then express behavior patterns consistent with that. They smoke less, by and large. They have more safe sex, by and large. They save more for retirement if they have a futured language. And I give a lot of examples of this in the book, that the language we use shapes the thoughts we think, shapes our behavior patterns. In other words, if we do not speak about God, if we do not speak about faith, if we don't speak about courage or compassion or patience, the things that Christians call the fruit of the Spirit, then we won't think about those things. Our minds will become, as a culture and as individuals, less attuned to transcendence. And the resulting effect of that is we will become a less courageous society, a less compassionate society, a less kind society, a society that's less shaped by realities of the inner life and spirituality and the supernatural. So if you're someone like me and you say, these things are important, then you have to say, this really is a crisis. We need to learn to speak God from scratch.
How much do you think? One thing I've kind of been thinking a lot about is, I read that there was a piece in the New York Times not that long ago about like the intellectual dark web. There's guys like Jordan Peterson and, sort of the polarizing figures, Sam Harris, who kind of, for one reason or another, haven't broken through to a lot of mainstream audiences because some of what they said has been perceived as like politically incorrect or, offensive to some audiences, which there's some legitimate concerns there. But how much does sort of our cultural sensitivity to words that people might find, kind of offensive in some context, how much does that play into this?
Well, what I'm not arguing for is to begin forcing spiritual conversations on people who don't want to have them. This isn't like an argument for kind of like guerrilla evangelism. And I have to be really clear about this. What this is recognizing that there's a whole heck of a lot of us. Actually, there's an increase, if you look at the data, among millennials over and against boomers who say, I want to find ways to have these conversations. I just don't have a real helpful outlet for that. And so as a result, I'm just silent about these things because I don't have a space. I don't have a place. I don't have people that I can have these conversations with in a way that's constructive, in a way that causes less stress in my life, and that is more life-giving rather than soul-sucking. And I think I bet you, a lot of people listening to this right now would say the same thing. They would say, yeah, you know why I don't talk about these things? Because I don't have a place where I can do that in a way that I really enjoy. It just creates tension. It's fraught. And what I want to do is instead of saying, if this word is triggering for someone, use it anyway. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying instead is find a community of people who want to sit around a table and dream about what these words could mean for us in our day and dream about new definitions. That's going to make some people uncomfortable, particularly if you come from a more fundamentalist background where, you didn't play with definitions of words. But one thing I talk about in this book is up until the more modern era, this is the way that ancient Jews and the earliest Christians have always handled language, that we have played with it to release new meanings that are more helpful for our current moment.
That was Jonathan Merritt. Make sure to check out his new book, Learning to Speak God from Scratch. It's out now.
Please don't go away from me. Na, 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 yeah. I don't wanna let you go now. Na, 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 girl. It's like every other night I'm falling with you.
Your faith tradition is important and not enough. Maybe you're feeling stuck between doubling down on a formula faith, just going through the motions, or jumping ship from the whole thing. In his new book, The Eternal Current, well-known pastor and worship leader Aaron Newquist reveals there's a far more beautiful pathway, one initiated by Christ and reflected in countless Christian traditions through the ages that our modern culture has somehow lost sight of. The Eternal Current embraces our faith traditions while recognizing that belief must be coupled with participation. Learn how to get swept into God's redemptive work in our lives and in the world. The Eternal Current by Aaron Nyquist, available wherever books are sold.
Please don't go away from me. Na 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 na, yeah. I don't wanna let you go now. Na 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 na, girl. It's like every other night I'm falling.
You're listening to Yoshi Flower. I gotta be honest with you, I just picked this song because of the name. Just because we're paranoid doesn't mean they're not on to us. That's the name of the song. There you go, Yoshi Flower. Okay, it is time for our Listener of the Week.
You listen to the show, and it's time to get to know you. It's the Listener of the Week.
All right, Jesse, this week, you picked out a Listener of the Week that I will tell you, I have seen send us facts several times over the last few months. I'm really glad you finally chose them because these caught my eye as well. Tell us about our Listener of the Week, and then we'll introduce him.
Well, the first thing that caught my eye is his, I think he is the heir to what I believe to be a fast food empire. Carl Adams Jr. Carl's Jr. Welcome to the show.
Welcome to the show.
It is an honor, sir.
Thanks, man.
It is an honor.
Huge fan, by the way. I'm a huge fan.
Yeah, your buttermilk biscuits are fantastic.
See, you like Carl.
I can't take all the credit.
I'm a bigger fan of his twin brother Hardy. I like Hardy a lot better.
Big rivalry. They hate each other. Yeah,
evil twin.
Yeah, their cousin Wendy though. She's the one really to look out for. Okay, so Carl, you've been. How long have you been sending us facts to try to get on to the podcast now?
I started sending facts as soon as I heard about the Listener of the Week because I thought it just sounded like a lot of fun, and I think I have some interesting ones, and so I was like, I'm just going to keep sending these, and eventually they'll pick them.
I like his spunk and his gumption because he doesn't just send it to @relevant podcast. @Cameron Strang gets a list. @Jesse Carey gets a list.
Hey.
I like Annie F. Downs gets a list. I like it.
He got his second nephew Bojangle to send me some too. I mean, he's been blowing us up.
Jesse, that was good, bud.
Okay, so Carl, let's hope your persistence paid off. The moment you've been waiting for has arrived. I'm going to read your facts one by one, and then we're going to dig into them. Okay, first one. You once won a radio contest for best Arnold Schwarzenegger impression. Before we hear this award-winning impression, tell us what were the circumstances of this radio contest.
Absolutely. So it was a local radio station here in Colorado Springs about 10 years ago. Was doing, I think actually it may have been a little bit more than 10 years ago. It was when Arnold was running for governor of the great state of California. And they decided to do a contest. So I was calling in on my way to work, and they liked me and they called back. And eventually it whittled down, and I became the winner of it. And so they had me on several times that morning on a segment just as the governor to interview. So I've got a recording that on my website.
So as well. Several times. So did they? Okay, so they had you on several times. Were they interviewing you as governor, as like the candidate, or were you just doing the basic impression?
They were interviewing me as candidate, and what's funny is there was very little preparation. So I just realized I'm just going to riff, and I just went off, and they were asking me about Oscar predictions. Lord of the Rings was was nominated during that time. They were asking me about running, asking me about politics. So I was just riffing as Arnold the whole time. So
in that spirit, Carl, I'm going to ask you a question. You have to answer it as politician Schwarzenegger. Deal?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Governor Schwarzenegger, what are your thoughts on the coming Space Force?
Yeah, here's the thing with about the Space Force. Like, I think if you're the Terminator, they should at least seek you out to get your counsel and get your understanding of space and all of the things that could attack us. I don't understand why I've been completely ignored with this role.
Awful.
Oh my God.
That's
if you don't already know, Jesse, I was once governor of the great state of California.
Scottish Schwarzenegger.
I did a fantastic job. No space aliens on my reign during that time came down and touched our country or our state of California. And I contribute all of that, not to my team, but to myself.
Carl sounds like Sean Connery doing an Arnold Schwarzenegger impression.
Yeah, that's right.
Jesse, I don't appreciate that. There's a great difference between Arnold
here we go.
and Sean Connery.
Oh my goodness, he's got a bag of them.
You the man now,
Carl,
Carl.
you have a gift, my friend. Okay, I have a feeling we're going to circle back to this one. Your voice impressions. Your second fact is you starred in a Super Bowl commercial in 2002. What was the commercial and what was your role in it?
Yeah, so I basically played a receptionist for a now defunct company that did voicemail for businesses, for small businesses. I take no credit for the fact that the company folded shortly after this commercial aired. However,
You maybe should.
Basically what I was doing, it was the idea or the premise of it was that if you don't have a voicemail system, they will kind of set it up for you. So in the commercial, I was actually on camera doing several different voices, and I was sort of pretending to be other people that weren't available. So it was kind of a weird concept, but I didn't care. It was a local TV commercial that aired during the Super Bowl, and I got to do voices on camera. So that's all I knew.
That's pretty cool.
Does this commercial still exist, like on YouTube?
It does. It's on YouTube. I can send you guys the link. It's also on my Facebook voiceover page.
Okay, so
happy about
you've
that.
had a lot of voice related. All three of these facts. Could you send us like a bunch to choose from? And I chose the voice related ones.
Sure.
And because the final one,
See, that's
is
another strategy that other listeners need to pay attention to. A lot of you guys you're sending us 3 facts, which is all we need.
Yeah.
It's all we ask for. Carl goes above and beyond, sends 6.
Well, I started
And see,
switching
so
it
now-
up. I wasn't getting any attention for the 3. So I started, throwing
That's
different
right.
things in there, making up some. No, not really.
Yeah.
They were all true to some extent. So.
Yeah. See, so let us pick our favorite 3.
Yeah.
Maybe our taste is a
Yeah,
little
don't
different
give
than
up.
your.
What you should learn today is don't give up.
Absolutely.
go.
Persistence pays off, my friends.
That's right.
Carl, are you in a voice related field right now professionally?
I am not. I chose instead the fascinating career of insurance sales.
Oh, there you go.
Well, there you go.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right.
There you go. Noble profession.
It wasn't like Pixar was beating
yeah.
down
But
my
I bet your
door. probably
voicemail
might have
is
gone
incredible.
That direction had that happened, but it's hard to make it in the business, so to speak.
Do you like record the outgoing messages for friends and family, like as various
I have
celebrities?
definitely done that over time, especially back in the days when answering machines existed. To date myself a bit, that was something I did. I considered having a job as a kind of a voice guy, doing that, just on the side. But I still do voiceovers from time to time for local studios and things, and I really enjoy it. I feel like it's one of the things that God gave me as a talent. I've always been a mimic since I was a kid. So
That was always the coolest guy in college, the one who did all the voices for your voicemail. To be fair, I agree with that. We always wanted that guy to come over.
Got a lot of dates
Yeah.
out of that. And
Yeah, he
two,
was.
his Schwarzenegger impression works well in the insurance field for Austrian immigrants that come over. He can sell them in their native tongue.
in their native tongue.
Finally,
Jesse.
Really specializing in Scottish Austrian immigrants
Yeah,
with a
that's it.
specific intersection.
yeah, if
But
they're
they
looking
need
for
insurance
insurance,
too,
he's the
you
man
guys.
to go to. Yeah,
They need
yeah.
insurance too.
Yeah, and you would not believe what their premiums are. They are reckless people, those Scottish Austrians. Okay, finally, Carl, you were fired from your first job for doing character voices at work. Where did you work, and how did you end up losing your job over what I can only call a God-given, unbelievable
Clearly,
talent?
he was the drive-through guy at Carl's Jr.
Well, so my first job, I was 14. I worked at a Jack in the Box in California, and I used to get, of course, on the drive-through window. I would do different voices just for fun. My favorite thing was I would be British, or I'd be a surfer, and hey, what's up? What can I get for you? And then I'd do the entire thing in this sort of accent, and then people would drive around, and then I'd be a British guy instead. And like you'd see them kind of like looking behind me, trying to figure out where's the surfer guy I was just talking to. So I was doing one of these riffs on the drive-through window one afternoon when I thought my boss was not around, and turns out he had come in at some point and decided that was not a great representation of his establishment, and so I lost my job.
They drive around the corner expecting to see Keanu Reeves,
Exactly.
and they have the world's only Scottish Austrian person handing the cheeseburgers. Too shocking for Jack. in the Box.
What is your favorite impression to do? What do you think your best impression is? Because it's not Arnold.
Cameron.
Well, thank you. I think probably one of my favorite things to do is when I go out with my daughter. Sometimes we'll go out on a little mini daddy-daughter date, and we'll be British, and we'll be from Manchester, and we'll just spend the entire time that we're together, talking about Manchester and things from England and things like that. And what's very strange about this is occasionally people will ask me, and they'll say, "Oh, I'm actually from England." And then it's very awkward because I don't mean to be cruel, but you get into this situation where you're suddenly stuck and you've got to act like you're from that place and make up facts. And it's very awkward when this happens, but occasionally it does happen and you've got to stay in character. Otherwise, you're just a jerk and you're pretending that you're from someplace that you're not.
I don't know what to do.
Carl, how old's your daughter?
My daughter is, I could probably lose the accent now. My daughter is currently 13.
I would say savor these daddy dates while they last, because they are quickly coming to a close if those shenanigans are still at play.
Agreed. Suddenly the embarrassment factor will be too
girls.
huge, and then it will be, Dad, shut up. You're embarrassing me, dude.
It is true.
Man, that's funny.
Well, Carl, we appreciate you and all your many characters.
I mean, you really could, like hound her suitors as she grows up as various characters, various intimidating, voices and things. They wouldn't know it's you.
Yeah,
absolutely. It's a good strategy just to make sure I keep the wrong guys away from her. So
that's right. I like it.
That's right.
And before I have to go here, I just want to say thank you for your podcast. I've been listening since about 2008, 2009. And it's really the only podcast I listen to on a weekly basis, but it has gotten us through some really rough times in life. And it's been just such a blessing. I feel like I know you guys, and I've always looked forward to the potential chance to talk with you. So it's
thanks,
amazing.
Man. Thanks for listening so long. That means a lot.
Thanks, dude.
Really appreciate it.
Seriously, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I really appreciate him saying that not in a British accent.
It wouldn't feel as genuine if it was done as Arnold Schwarzenegger thanking us. But thank you, Carl.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys.
All right. Well, Carl did a great job, and we really appreciate him listening for all these years. If you want to be a listener of the week like Carl, remember two things. First, we want to hear good stories. So, in addition to your 3 interesting facts about yourself, have some good stories to tell us about. Not everyone can be a Carl Jr., but we want to hear your story. So, if you want to be a listener of the week, the second thing you can do is hit us up at Relevant Podcast on Twitter, or go to the podcast episode page at relevantmagazine.com. We're looking for new people every week, so you got a chance. Also, hey, I want to thank Jonathan Merritt for talking with us today. You can check out his new book, Learning to Speak God from Scratch. It is out now everywhere. You can follow him on Twitter at Jonathan Merritt. And also, hey, he co-hosted a podcast that we're really excited that we were able to partner with him on. It's called The Faith Angle. You can get it wherever you get your podcast.
And many thanks to Science Mike for sitting in, man. This was a lot of fun. We love catching up with you.
It's always the most fun I have, waking up early to join Team Relevant.
Yeah, come on.
Good, man.
Appreciate it,
good
man.
to hear. Yeah.
Oh, man. Hey, before we go, I want to remind you, this is Friday's podcast. On Monday, August 27th, on Monday, we're starting Impact Week at Relevant, and each day next week we'll be live on Facebook, we'll be on Instagram, we'll be on Twitter. We're going to be going live every day. We're going to be trying to raise money for some very important social justice organizations. On Monday, we're going to be tackling domestic hunger by supporting Feeding Children Everywhere. On Tuesday, we're going to be tackling sex trafficking by supporting A21 and their amazing work to free women caught in sex trafficking and rehabilitate them and prosecute the bad guys. On Wednesday, we're going to be supporting the refugee work that Preemptive Love Coalition is doing in trying to fund a safe space for children in the middle of a massive refugee camp that lost its funding. On Thursday, we're going to be supporting or trying to help with emergency relief and food and medication in East Africa that's suffering under that 8-year drought. And people are losing their lives, and we want to raise money for World Vision on that day. And on Friday, we're building wells with Charity Water. Join us. We're partnering with Bright Peak Financial all week. They are a nonprofit financial services group, and they'll be participating. So your giving will be amplified. Each day, there'll be different things that they'll be doing to significantly move the needle on the gift that we are collectively trying to do. So tune in all week. We'll be doing crazy stunts. We'll be having amazing guests joining us. We'll be live throughout the day. And set aside some money and join us next week for Impact Week. It starts on Monday, so don't miss it. We'll be doing our normal podcasts like usual next week. If you tune in during Impact Week, you'll actually be able to watch a live stream behind the scenes of us recording a show, and you'll hear all the outtakes and see why we edit ourselves so heavily. So there you go. Don't miss it. Next week, Impact Week. Tune in. You can find out more at relevantmagazine.com/Impact Week. On that note, we'll wrap things up. I'm Cameron Strang.
Chandler String.
I'm Jesse Carey.
I'm Annie F. Downs.
I'm Science Mike.
We will see you on Monday. Tune in. Impact Week.
Thank you for listening to the Relevant Podcast. If you like what you heard, be sure to leave us a review on iTunes. Check out other shows from the Relevant Podcast Network in the podcast section at relevantmagazine.com. And while you're there, browse exclusive podcast merchandise at our online store. Make sure to subscribe to Relevant Magazine. Info is available at relevantmagazine.com/subscribe.
We have disturbing news this evening from the moon base. One of our Soviet colleagues has found to have peed in the pool.
Relevant Podcast Network.
Shop Amazon for last minute gifts. Great deals for everyone on your list. Gifts for mom and gifts for dad. Even for your sister and your brother Chad. Ah shoot, we didn't realize we were supposed to get a gift for our dog walker guy. We almost forgot about our dentist Dr. Kurt. We didn't expect to get a gift from her. Or our cousin, I forget his name. He got us something nice, better reciprocate. For last minute deals on gifts for people you forgot. Get fast and free shipping at